yes, easy to grow, but also different than what you see just anywhere else. And so these are brand new today. I mean, once again, this is typically, we're at the end of the season. We're not. We're still bringing in brand new items. This is our only order of the season, and it's a 3-piece Brandywine tomato set of live plants, 3 beefsteak varieties. We're talking gourmet flavor, and they will fruit from summer to the end of the season. So I want to talk tomatoes because, you know, one of my favorite things to eat in the summer is either, you know, the tomatoes with the mozzarella and, you know, a little piece of like the garlic bread, etc., or a tomato sandwich, which is what I grew up on in Minnesota.
Me too. There is nothing like a sun-warm tomato. You know, so often we're getting our tomatoes at the grocery store and they've got those thick skins. They can be mealy and flavorless. We have picked this collection for flavor, hands down. These are some of the most flavorful tomatoes on the market. It's called our Brandywine collection, which you mentioned earlier. We're both in Pennsylvania. One of the regions in our neck of the woods is called the Brandywine. So I
Right.
am over the moon about this variety because they're all from our region. They're heirloom tomatoes, which are dating back to the 1800s. They are seeds that have been saved and passed down, which makes them incredibly difficult, if not impossible to find at the grocery store or very expensive at your farmer's market, where we know how much a pound they charge per pound for the tomato. So you
Mhm.
can grow your own most delicious tomatoes at home. It couldn't be easier.
Now, one of the things that I always think of, if I think of a tomato, I think tomato red, but these are going to be orange, pink, and purple. Explain that.
Well, and you know what's so funny about the different colors is it changes their flavor profile a little bit. So when we're
Sure.
looking at this orange Brandywine tomato, you're getting more of a high acidic content. So it's not
Oh,
going to be as sweet as maybe our pink Brandywine tomato that we have, but they're all going to be seed, very, very low seed count. So these are going to be the perfect tomatoes for sandwiches. Like you said, I
mm-hmm.
love a good tomato sandwich with a little bit of salt and mayonnaise.
Right.
They'll be great for salads or just for slicing and eating. I mean, check out that, how few seeds are in there and how juicy it is. This tomato is so good. I want to take a bite out of it.
Oh,
But
I bet.
tomatoes are something that are full sun. So you
Mm-hmm.
will want a spot in your garden or in a container that you get at least 6 hours of sun a day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty fast growers. So these are going to grow for you in one season. They're going to perform. The collection that we've brought, Mary Beth, are called indeterminate tomatoes, which just means they're not going to give you one big burst like maybe aroma would.
Right.
Aroma tomato that you want to sauce and can, you
Right.
want all of those at once. But
Right.
these big heirloom juicy tomatoes will come throughout the season. They typically
Wow.
start, depending on where you live, of course, but early summer. And then
Mm-hmm.
you will get all 3 of these at, different color tomatoes to make a colorful tomato salad if you want, but
Right.
all throughout the summer into early fall.
These are gorgeous. And by the way, with any of these live plants, they will not ship to you in your part of the country until your part of the country is ready to plant. So basically, you just sit and wait, and as
Mm.
soon as they arrive, you take them out of the box, you give them a good drink of water because they've been traveling, and then you want to make sure that you get them planted as soon as you can. Here's a quick question for you. And by the way, this is how it's going to come. This is how your little tomato plant will come. You're going to get 3 of these. All 3 are different varieties, but you can already see on this one, we have the little buds coming out. So this is already on its way to start to create the tomatoes just by those little flowers that are there on the vine. But here's the other thing I wanted to ask you, Katie, and that is, when you've got beefsteak tomatoes, do these have to be grown in the ground, or are they allowed to be grown in containers, basically? If you don't have like a big amount of area, maybe you're in a condo, an apartment, you've got a bit of a deck or a balcony or something, what would you recommend?
That's the great thing about tomatoes is all they really need is sun and they need support. So you can see this support I have, maybe in the second camera. Yeah, this you can't really even see it. The tomato's growing so big over it, but there is a trellis in here. But this is a container grown tomato. So I would pick maybe an 18 or 20-inch big container, even
Okay.
though I know when you get these 3 plants home, you think, gosh, an 18 or 20-inch container for that little guy. But this, by the end of the season or by mid-season, it will look this big. So
Right.
you absolutely can plant them in ground or in a container. Just make sure to give them enough space
Yeah.
because tomatoes will go wild,
Which is
and
great.
support them.
The more they
Absolutely,
go
that's what we
wild,
want.
tomatoes gone
Yeah.
wild. That's what we need. Hey, by the way, it actually comes with a growing guide because maybe this is your first time to actually grow tomatoes, grow your own. Everything you need to know is right in here and on the back as well. So don't be afraid. Go ahead and give us a call. And these are annuals. So of course you would have to reorder each and every year, but these are brand new today. All 3 varieties for $23.52. I want a plate like that.
That's
Yum.
summer to me right there.
In the meantime, we have something else coming up a little bit later on in the show. We have a basket full of deals. Let me just say, a lot of wonderful things